أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن استنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers and sisters. Alhamdulillah, we start by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we send our salam and salawat on Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive our sins and shortcomings and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept this time and effort that all of us are giving to learn the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as good deed and inshallah to have His mercy upon all of us in this world and in the akhirah inshallah ta'ala. So alhamdulillah, we had a week off last week, so we have finished 3 lessons. So just like the earlier weeks, today also we're going to do a quick review and then we're going to jump onto our next topic, which is the next property of the ism, which is gender. I have received a few questions regarding the exercise and inshallah we'll discuss those as we go through the review. And even if you have any other question after that, you can just unmute yourself and ask again when you are doing the review, okay? Inshallah ta'ala. So I can see, alhamdulillah, as many of you are joining on the Zoom, but please, I request all of you, I cannot force you, but it is very important that you all take the exercise because that's the way you will know that whatever you have heard in this 1 hour that you have understood or not, right? So it is very, very important, brothers and sisters, please take your time to do the exercise, even if you get, 2 out of 20 or, I don't know, maybe 5 out of 50, doesn't matter. Okay, make mistakes. That's how you're going to learn, inshallah. Okay, but please take some time out and try to do the exercise on time, and so that when we discuss this, that you don't fall behind. Okay, so that you are on the right track with all of us, inshallah. Okay, so let's begin with a review. And in the review, first thing that we say that we make sure that our intention is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are not doing it to get any degree or a job or anything, inshallah ta'ala. The main intention is to have the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so that we can please Him, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, and so that we can come close to the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the second thing, as I always mention, the patience and commitment, okay, because we are only in the 3rd week, we have a long way to go, inshallah ta'ala. But inshallah, time will fly fast and you will see that, it will go very quickly. But we have to be patient and committed, okay? It may feel that, okay, why I'm learning this combination, the sound, how is it going to help me, okay? As I'm saying again and again, have patience, inshallah, you will see the application very, very soon, inshallah, okay? Once we go through the isms properties and then we start the fragments and sentences, you will see all those things coming up, okay? And remember that funny picture of the bus, okay? So all of you are hanging there. So please be patient and hang in there. Inshallah, we'll reach our goal in due time. Inshallah, and inshallah, we'll learn a lot of things from the Quran, the speech of the Quran, the speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And always try to learn, share, and teach. Okay, whatever you are learning, try to share it with your spouse or family or friends or children, whoever is you can. Okay, it's not mandatory, but if you share it, you can even make a group if you know each other. Make a group and talk to each other. Okay, that's the way you will remember the things in a better and a stronger way, inshallah. Okay, so let's do a quick review. So far in the last 3 weeks, what we have learned, we learned about 3 kinds of words in Arabic, okay? And I'm going to come back to the exercise because I know there's 1 or 2 questions regarding exercise. We'll come back to that, okay? So far we learned 3 kinds of words in Arabic, ism, fail, and harf, okay? Every ism has 4 properties: status, gender, number, and type. And actually we finished the status. In the first 3 weeks, we have finished the status. And in status, we learned about a few things which we're going to review soon. We talked about harf. We haven't learned any harf, okay? But we know that harf has no properties, just like ism has, okay? Status of an ism can be doer, details, or after of, which in Arabic we call rafa, nasab, and jar, okay? That is the name of the status, okay? Sometimes in Arabic grammatical language, when a ism is in rafa status, that ism is called marfu. It's same word rafa, it's called marfu. It's just Arabic term, okay? If you say the status is rafa, that is fine. But if you say marfu, the status is rafa is in Arabic is called marfu. Or you can call mansub, meaning it's a nasab status. Or you can call majroor, is jar status. So it's the same thing, okay? Just an Arabic term, okay? I'm just letting you know because if you hear someone else or if you want to learn from someone else, maybe say, okay, what is marfu? I'd never heard of marfu. Marfu is nothing but the status is in rafa. Mansub means nasab and majroor means in jar status. Status can be determined by 2 ways. ending sound and ending combination, which I'm putting a lot of emphasis that, we need to know about ending sound and ending combination from our charts. And all isms are either masculine or feminine. That's why we have two types of chart. There's no neutral gender in Arabic. There are singular, dual, and plural, just like in our Muslim chart, right? We learned about that singular, dual, and plural. Unlike English has singular and plural, but in Arabic we have dual also. Okay, masculine heavy chart, we have the masculine heavy chart, we have the feminine heavy chart, we have the masculine light chart, and masculine feminine light chart. We have four chart of different version. Two charts of different version we learned already, right? There are four reasons of an ism to be get light. We know only one of the reasons so far, that partly flexible, which we learned last week. The partly flexible is one of the four reasons that when a partly flexible word is always light. It cannot have tanween, it cannot be heavy, partly flexible, right? So that's one of the reasons. There are other three reasons which we're going to learn as we go through, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, we also talked about light means no tanween, and also no noon at the ending combination of the charts. So we have four combination, if you remember: ani, aini, una, ina, atun, tani, taini, atun, and atin, right? So this four. If you take the noon out, okay, of these combinations, okay, then it became light, okay. And obviously light also means there's no tanween, like one single kasra, single dhamma, and a single fatha. Ism are mostly fully flexible, which we talked about last week, the last lesson. Few words are partly flexible and few are non-flexible, okay. Mostly are fully flexible. In this regard, there's one brother asked a question, that does it mean that the combination word, like the words that in the dual column or in the plural column for masculine and feminine chart, do they have flexibility? Are they fully flexible? Yes, they are always fully flexible. The flexibility topic only applies to the singular column, okay. Anything that is combination, anything that has a combination, either, how many combination again? Four. Ani, aini, tani, taini at the end, right? Una, ina, atun, or atin. These all combination, these are nothing to do with flexibility. These are always fully flexible. Flexibility, the fully flexible, partly flexible works for the singular column only, okay. So partly flexible ism can never have tanween, okay. Obviously they are light, meaning they are always light, never heavy, okay. Partly flexible can never has kasra in their last letter or jer, they cannot have kasra. Okay. So un or u for rafa, and an or a for nasab or jar. So if they have a sound, okay, if they have a sound, that is either nasab or jar, okay. Okay, and that's why there are exercise. Some of the exercises were like that. Okay, they're nasab or jar. If it's u sound, it's only rafa. But if it's a partly flexible word, then it is, if it's a sound, then either nasab or jar. In the Quran, the 6 first name are fully flexible. Four of them I already mentioned in the chart, and the two were like exception, like lut and nu. Okay, four are non-flexible, and the rest are partly flexible. Now, other than the prophet's name, there are other names in the Quran who are not prophet. Okay, there are some names of evil people. For example, Iblis. There's a name, right? Iblis. That's also partly flexible. Okay, there is only one name of a female, Maryam. That is also partly flexible. There is a name called Luqman. Okay, he's not a prophet, but it's a name. It's also partly flexible. Okay, there is people like Pharaoh. Okay, Karun, Haman. Okay, all these names. Okay, Azar is the name of the father of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Okay, also there's a name of As-Samiri. The Samiri is the guy who made a golden calf when Musa alayhi salam went to to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Mount Tur. He is the one who made and make them doing shirk, right? As-Samiri, that name is also mentioned in the Quran. Okay, all these names are partly flexible, so they cannot take kasra. Okay, other than the prophet. So just because I'm telling her prophet's name, if you see those names, don't think they're different category. No, they are also partly flexible. Most of them are partly flexible. There are few non-flexible names, and we know non-flexible. To determine non-flexible, we have like alif maksura at the end, and which you can mention soon here. So partly flexible words can be name of places and non-Arab names. Okay, either they are name of places. For example, Makkah is a name and mentioned in the Quran. There's a name called Yasrib in the Quran. Yasrib, the previous name of Medina. Okay, Yasrib, that is also partly flexible. Okay, there is another name called Misr, meaning Mishr or Egypt. Okay, that is mentioned in the Quran. That is also partly flexible. Okay, and also the non-Arab names, as I mentioned, including the Prophet non-Arab names and other people that I mentioned there. So these are all partly flexible words. And again, whenever I say partly flexible, it means they cannot have tanween, they cannot have kasra at their last letter. So their rafa is a u sound, nasab and jar is a sound. They cannot have a e sound and they cannot be heavy ever. Okay, so these are the partly flexible. Okay, non-flexible words usually ends with alif maksura. Usually, not 100% all the time. Alif maksura looks like that, like a ya without a dot, or sometimes it ends with an alif. Now, non-flexible words, there there are some names, as I said, four names of the prophets are non-flexible. For example, Isa, Musa, because they have alif maksura at the end. Zakaria has the alif at the end. Yahya has the alif at the end. So these four prophets, as per my knowledge, they are non-flexible. But there are other words which are not names, not name of the places, not name of the people, but those are also non-flexible, and they're special words. We are going to learn those as we go through. Okay, and I will tell you that these words are non-flexible. Okay, and they have meanings. Okay, I'm not going to tell you now. As we go through the next few weeks, you will see some special words, and I'm going to tell you, brother, revise this word, memorize this word. They are non-flexible. Okay, so that means, and non-flexible means what? That their rafa sound, nasab sound, jar sound, all are the same. They don't change. They don't become u, a, e. Whatever their original word is, they keep it like this. That's why they are not flexible at all. They are called non-flexible words. Okay, non-flexible words. Okay, and then we talked about little bit about al. Al means a harf, and we say that anything that start with an al is an ism. We already talked about that, and we also say that al and tanween can never be together, but al can be with the combination. Meaning, if a word has a ani, aini, tani, taini, atun, atin, una, ina, that word can have al. Al has no problem with the combination, but al has problem with tanween. Okay, tanween. And we said that in 99.99% time, if you see a word that has an al, it's an ism. Okay, to my little knowledge, only there's two places in the Quran there is a al, but still it's not an ism. Only two places. Okay, and I'm going to mention them later, inshallah, when you talk about fail. Okay, we'll talk about those. Okay, but as I said, 99.9% time, if you see an al, this is an ism. Okay, and al, if you have an al, then this word cannot have tanween. So in the last 3 weeks, this is what we learned in a summary. Okay, now I'm going to to quickly talk about, I think, one or two words that some of the brothers mentioned about the exercise. I think there was a word called akharani. Okay, akharani. Let me see if I can share that screen actually. So just bear with me 1 second, so that we can all go through that quickly. Let's see. Okay, we're going to stop presenting this one, and then we say share. Okay, so I think you all can see that. So if we go through this, I think one of the brothers, if you have any question regarding this, you can ask me now. So Ar-Rahman was pretty easy. Harun was a name, so it's the name of a prophet. It's partly flexible, and it's a sound, so it's either rafa, it's not, so either nasab or jar. Okay, nasab or jar. Okay, because it's partly flexible. Mukhlisin is easy. Adam is again the name and of a prophet, a non-Arab name. Okay, so he's also partly flexible. The word is also partly flexible because its u sound is rafa. I think the question was about Sadiq Ani also. So obviously Sadiq Ani, you can easily see that Ani combinations. We have a combination. So obviously it is heavy. Okay, Sadiq Ani is heavy because we can see the Ani combination here, and also it is Rafa because it's dual, and it's fully flexible. Okay. And Rabbun was good. Isa is non-flexible, as we mentioned, Isa and Musa, right? Alimun is what is this? This has a heavy sound because tanween, we can see that. I think there's this one, akharani. This was a tricky one because you can see the akharani. but it's also a combination, dual ani combination, right? Ani. So the ani means dual. So this is rafa, and this is obviously heavy. Okay, because it's ani. We can see the noon here. Ani combination is one of our combination, and it is fully flexible. So I think these are the two questions about akharani and sodikani. Has anyone got any other question from the exercise that you're confused that why the answer is like that? You can unmute and ask me. Hijaban, Makkata. So Makkata, you can see this is the name of a place. So Makkata, Makkata, it is light because it's partly flexible. Okay. Because why is partly flexible? Because it's the name of a place, Makkah. Okay, Makkata. Okay. Now it's a sound and it's a partly flexible, so it could be nasab or jar. So the correct answer will be nasab or you have to tick both nasab or jar. Okay, so that's how it is. Hijaban is very easy. Al Qurani. Okay, so this one has another one of the sister has a question. This one is a tricky one because this is Quran. Okay, why tricky? Because you can say the brother, I can clearly see a alif and a noon ani. So it's Al Qurani. It looks like a Muslimani, right? So why it is not dual? Because it sounds like the dual. Sometimes it's not dual because it's the part of the spelling. It is because if you don't have ani, you have Al Qur. Doesn't make any sense, right? So as an example, all this combination that we learn, 8 combination, right? Ani, aini, una, ina. Okay. So these are in dual and plural column, right? In English, if I say, for example, book, B double like a book, if I want to make it plural, I add an S, books, right? If I have a word called like, for example, house, I want to make a plural, houses, I add a ES, right? So this extra, like in English, we add an extra S or ES, usually, most of the cases, right? So that they are not the part of the spelling. Okay, they are part of the extra word to make it plural. Just like combination is also not part of the spelling. It is an extra thing to make it a dual and also give you the idea of status of the raf and nasab. But the word Qur'ani, it is actually the ani is part of the word. It is not the combination. It is not the combination. And obviously there's no two Quran. Okay, I mean, not that here the Quran means the book of Allah. Okay, and this ani is not the combination ani. This is the part of the spelling. Okay, for example, if I say in English, if I want to give an example in English, if I say the word mass, mass, mass. Okay, or maybe let's take another word, boss. My boss is Australian. Okay, boss. If I ask you, brother, the bos double s, is it a plural word or a singular word? You say, but it's a singular word. But I say, but there's a s there. You say, no, brother, that s is a part of the spelling, boss. If you want to make it plural, if I say I have 3 bosses, then I have to add a es. So the 2s that comes in the boss, they are not there because of its making plural. They are part of the spelling. Okay, just like that in Qur'ani, it could be al Qur'anu, al Qur'ana, al Qur'ani. Okay, so the ani here not from the combination. It is the spelling of the word Quran. The Quran word has 4 letters: Qaf, Ra, Alif, and Nun. That makes the Quran. Okay, so in this case, the status of it is jar only because it's the e sound, al Qurani, and obviously it's irrelevant. It's not light, not heavy because of the al. Okay, and it is fully flexible because if it were partly flexible, okay, then it couldn't have take kasra, and obviously it's not non-flexible because you can see there's a kasra there. Okay, so that was a tricky one because one of the sisters was confused because it's the right question to ask, but here it is the part of the spelling. Okay, Hafizuna was fine. Awalina is ina combination. Qariyatin, okay, you can easily see the tanween. So I think that's what it is. Okay, so I don't think anybody has any question. If you have any question, you can ask me now, or you can message me as the other brothers and sisters are doing. No problem with that, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing this and we're going to go back to our lessons for today. Let's do that. Okay, I think it's coming up soon. Yeah, okay. So far we have done this one, and we have done the property of status. Okay. So now we know how to determine the status by looking at the word. We find the combination first. Okay. Whether is if we have any of the combination, it could be a light combination. It's not going to be always ani because we have four version of the chart, right? Masculine, feminine, heavy masculine, heavy feminine, and light masculine, light feminine. Okay. So you need to remember that you may not find ani, you may find a. The knee is gone because of his light. So please look through the four version of the chart that we have done, especially the light one. Okay, because the light one can make you confused very easily because you take the noon out from there to make it light. Okay, so that's the first target. That's the first step to look whether a ism to determine its status, whether it has any combination. If it does not have a combination, then we look at the sound. U is Rafa, A is Nasab, E is Jar. Then also we have to check what kind of word is this. Is it partly flexible, fully flexible, or non-flexible? But as I said, most of them are fully flexible. When you get the sound, if you know it's a partly flexible, how do you know it's partly flexible? Either it's a name of a non-Arab name from the Quran or a name of a place. And fully flexible, we only know few words. For example, Isa, Musa, Zakaria, Yahya, and there's some other word that coming up in our future lesson. Okay, so that's how we determine our status. Now, the second property of ism is gender, which we're going to talk today, inshallah ta'ala. Before we go there, we're just looking at this fourth chart that I just mentioned. Okay, so please look at the light one. Okay, light feminine. See how Muslimuna become Muslimu, Muslimai, Muslimina become Muslimi, because the noon got taken out. Okay, and as I'm telling from my experience, the light one will make you confuse more because the other one is very easy to find. You can see una, ina, atun, atin. You can see that, but when you take the noon out, at the first glance you cannot determine whether it has the noon, if it or not, something like that. Okay, so please look at the light one, please, and revise that as soon as possible and as much as possible. So we talked about flexibility. I'm just skipping through that. For our prophets to exception, and these are the non-flexible. Okay, now today we're going to talk about, inshallah ta'ala, about the next property of an ism, which is gender. So just to keep us on track, we are talking about three kinds of words: ism, harf, and fail. Okay, so we didn't talk about any harf except for al. Al is kind of a harf. Okay, so that's the only harf, and obviously fail we're going to talk about after half of the course. We're talking about ism. Every ism has four properties. We talked about status already. In status, we have light and heavy and flexibility. And in flexibility, we have fully flexible, partly flexible, non-flexible. Today, we're going to deal with gender. Gender. We know a little bit about gender already because from the chart, we know there are two types of gender in every word in Arabic, either masculine or feminine. Okay, so that's what we know so far. Let's look at a bit more closely today. So there are two kinds of gender in Arabic, masculine and feminine. Only he or she. There is no it, so there is no Arabic word for it. Okay, if you translate in English, you can use it, but in in Arabic, there's no special word for it. Okay, so either it's a he or it's a she. Whether it's a living thing or a non-living thing, it doesn't matter. Okay, it has to be he or she. And also, most of the things, okay, a good number of things are masculine. Okay, a few numbers are feminine. There are few categories for feminine. So if we learn those categories of feminine, that we know these are the categories, these are the feminine words. Okay, in Arabic, these are the feminine categories. Rest is masculine. So we don't need to learn about masculine. If you know these are the feminine, rest is obviously masculine because it's by elimination, right? Now, the default gender of an ism is masculine. There are 6 categories or ways to find a feminine words. If a word does not fall into one of these 6 categories, then it is a masculine word. It is a masculine word. Okay, so let's look at that. The first category of feminine word is the biologically feminine. So obviously they are feminine words: sister, mother, okay, girls. These are feminine. Okay, and also the cow. If you know an animal, okay, and if you know this is a feminine animal, okay, Like for example, ox is a male, okay, and a cow is a feminine because it is a feminine element. Then it's a feminine thing. So it's a biologically feminine. Simple is that, okay? So these are the biological feminine. You can't change. Obviously, you cannot change them masculine. Okay, so they are feminine by born, by nature, or whatever way you want to call it. Okay. Also, word that ends with ta marbuta is always feminine in the Quran. I mentioned this before, if you remember. Any word that ends with ta marbuta, okay, the small ta with a two dot on the top, right? Or if the word is a alif mamduda, the alif and hamza is called alif mamduda, okay. Or if it ends with a alif maksura, sometimes also it is feminine, okay. When a word has three letters, okay, and those three letters are followed by alif mamduda or alif maksura, the word is considered feminine. In the word zikr, zikr means remembrance of Allah. Okay, also do zikr. After the salah, we do zikr. Subhanallah, alhamdulillah, these are all zikr, right? So the word zikr spelled like this way: Zal, Kaf, Ra, and a Alif Maksura. You probably haven't noticed it because that's how we are, because we don't look at the words, okay, when you says it, okay. But there is the Alif Maksura after the three letters. There are three letters before the Alif Maksura. This word is feminine. So the word zikr, that we always use, zikr of Allah, tasbih of Allah, whatever way, the zikr. Zikr means remembrance. And Allah even called the Quran, zikrul alamin. Okay, this is a zikr for the for the whole world. Okay, so zikr, the word zikr is one of the example. It's a feminine word. How do you know that? Because it's a three letters word followed by a alif maksura. Okay, in the word huda, huda means what? Anybody know what is huda means? What is huda means? Hudal lil muttaqin. Alif lam mim zalikal kitabu la rayba fi hudal lil muttaqin. What is huda means? Anyone? Of course, one of you must know. Anyone?
Hidayah. Hidayah.
Guidance. Yes, guidance. Yes, huda means guidance. Okay, so the word huda is spelled like this: ha, dal, and a alif maksura. But this word is not a feminine word. Why? Because before alif maksura, there's only two letters, not three letters. Okay, there are only two letters before alif maksura, so this word is not considered feminine. Okay. As for the ta marbuta, almost all words that end in ta marbuta are feminine. Okay, in the Quran, almost all word that ends with ta marbuta are feminine. Okay, so there are few examples here. If you see on the chart, al kubra, al kubra means the biggest. Okay, so it has alif maksura. Now you can say, brother, there are 5 letters before this. No, al is not the part of the letter. Al is means da. So the word is kaf, ba, ra, and alif maksura. So kubra with a alif maksura at the end. So this is a feminine word. Al ul'a, okay, ul'a, okay. Ul'a is also a alif maksura. So ain, lam, ya, and then alif maksura. Okay. So this is also feminine word. Hamra'u.
Brother,
Yes.
brother, I have a question. So when you say
Yes.
zikr is a feminine word, what do you actually mean?
Okay. Okay. It means that word, when you say feminine, don't think of like a female, okay? Because every Arabic word has a gender. The gender of that word is feminine. Okay? So it is sometimes it's a bit difficult to imagine, because we learn in English feminine means feminine, right? Something that's female means female. It's a biologically feminine, right? But in Arabic, every word has gender. Okay? Zikr means reminder. Okay, it's not a living thing. It's not an created thing, right? It's just a concept. Okay, but that word, because it's an ism, it must have a gender, and the gender is feminine. So if I ask you the question, what is the gender of zikr? You say feminine. Why is feminine? Because 3 letter followed by alif maksura. On the other hand, the other word huda, very similar kind of spelling, but it is not feminine because it's followed by 2. That is masculine. It is a masculine. So this category, that category number 2 that we are discussing, there are 3 letters, there are 3 different types of letter. If it comes to the end of the word, then there are a possibility that could be feminine, depending on if they're followed by 3 letter. Okay, ta marbuta is a give and go. So ta marbuta means, for example, rahmatun. What is rahma means? Mercy. And it's a feminine word because it has ta marbuta. It's a feminine word, okay? Again, when I say feminine and masculine in Arabic, you think the gender of the word, not a sister or a brother, okay? Not like that, okay? Not like that, okay? So if you see the middle column, Hamra'u, Sauda'u, these are the name of colors, okay? Hamra'u, Sauda'u, okay? These are some color, name of the colors. And there are colors name in the Quran, few colors name. And most of the colors name, if you see, there are 3 letters followed by a alif and a hamza. This is called alif and hamza together is called alif mamduda. Okay, so these are also feminine word. Color, most of the color is spelled same way. Hamra'u, Sauda'u, and then Safwa'u. All this, yellow, white, black, okay, red, okay, green. Okay, Hamra'u is the green. So all this name of the colors are also feminine words. Okay. And the third column, rahmatun, salatun, salah, our salah, the 5 times salah that we do, okay, salatun, okay, so that is also feminine word. That is also why it is feminine? Because it has ta marbuta. Ta marbuta is a guaranteed thing. No, you don't have to count any words, nothing, okay. But for the alif maksur and alif mamduda, you just have to be careful that it should be 3 letters, not 2 letters, okay, before the alif maksur or alif mamduda, okay. So I said there are 6 categories of feminine words. We did 2 only, 1 and 2. So 1 is biological feminine, which is by nature, sister, mother, girls. These are all feminine words. Second is this ones. Okay. Third one, oh, there's another word, bushra. See the bushra word here, and bushra means good news. And a lot of sisters' name is bushra actually, right? Because it's Arabic, but the word bushra actually means good news, and it's a feminine word. Why it is feminine? Because the alif maksura is there preceded by 3 letters, ba, shin, and ra. Okay, bushra. Okay, and bushra has been used a lot of time in the Quran. Okay, so this is also a feminine word because of the alif maksura. Okay, let's look at the third category. Third category is an interesting one. Body parts that comes in pair in our body are feminine, both in dual and singular forms. So there are some body parts, in general, they comes in pair. We have 2 lips, we have 2 foot, 2 shin, 2 ankle, 2 ears, 2 legs, 2 cheek, 2 heel, 2 hand, 2 eye, 2 elbow, 2 shoulder, right? So these and all of these are used in the Quran. All these 12 words have been used in the Quran, okay, and some others as well, okay. Tongue has been used in the Quran, okay. So this is a good vocabulary, and you should know this, okay. These words, all these 12 words, so any body part that comes in pair, okay, in our body, they are feminine. Even if you use them single. If I say the right hand of the Muslim is going up, okay, or if you're asking, brother, please raise your right hand, okay, I can see your right hand, okay. Even if you're talking about one hand, okay, you're not talking about 2 hands, still the gender of that word is feminine. So hand is yadun, eye is ainun, okay, elbow is mirfakun, okay, mankibun is shoulder, uzun is the ear, okay, rijlun is the leg, khaddun cheek, and aqibun is a heel, okay. All this, and these are, I'm not saying you have to memorize like a surah, these ones, but at least you know the English ones, okay, that these are, the rules of that, okay. If you know a word, okay, that this means food, then at least you should tick in your head, oh, okay, food, I have 2 food, okay. Usually food comes in pair in our body, so this should be a feminine word, okay. Otherwise there's no way to know it, okay. For example, the leaf is shafatun. Even if you don't know that shafatun means leaf, you can say it's a feminine word because it has a ta marbuta. But for food, it's kadam. We also call it kadam in Urdu and Bangla, right? Kadam means the foot, right? So kadamun has no ta marbuta, but still it's a feminine word because this is a body part that comes in pair. Same with eye, okay? 2 eyes, right? Same with hand, yadun, okay? Yadun has been used a lot of time in the Quran, right? So all these words are feminine words. So this is our third category, body parts that comes in pair. If the body part that comes in single, for example, how many nose we have? 1, right? So nose is used in the Quran. It is masculine word, okay. How many neck we have? 1, right? So the neck is in Arabic called unuk. Okay, so unuk is also masculine word. So things that comes in pair, okay, these are feminine words in the body parts. Okay, and I want you, all of you, to keep this chart obviously, and at least you know, and as I said, all of them has been used in the Quran, so you know the words. If you can memorize, very good. Okay, that's going to be your vocabulary, but at least you know the concept. If someone tells you a word and I give you the meaning also, you know that, you know, this is something that, you know, feminine, because they are body parts in pair.
Body
Number
part,
4, yes,
body part in single, like nose, it's
masculine.
masculine. And what
Yes,
about like more than double, like hairs or
they are
fingers?
masculine.
They all mix. Okay,
Masculine.
thank you.
Fingers is masculine, hairs is masculine, eyebrow, not eyebrow, sorry, the eyelash. If you talk about eyelash, okay, teeth, okay, these are all masculine. Okay, only the part that comes in pairs, these are feminine. Okay, these are feminine. Uh, Specific name of places. There are some names of the places are feminine. Okay, so the word school or masjid, these are not a specific name of a place. So for example, Misr, Egypt is a name of a place, and it has been used in the Quran. It is feminine. Any name of a place is feminine. Okay, but if I talk about he's going to school, I didn't give it a name. School could be anything, like a general thing. Masjid is a masjid. Okay, so these are not name like real name. So the red ones are used in the Quran. Obviously America is not in use in the Quran, right? And Sudan is also not used. But you know, al Morocco, the country Morocco in Arabic called al Maghrib. So the word al Maghrib has been used in the Quran, not for the country Morocco. Al Maghrib means something in the west. Okay, Maghrib means Mashriq is the east, Maghrib is the west. Okay, so the word Al Maghrib is also a feminine word because it's a name of a place. Okay, Yasrib, you all know what is Yasrib. That is the name, you know, the name of the Medina, city of Medina before, right? And the word Makkata, obviously Makkata is easy to find because it has a Tamarbuta. It has a Tamarbuta, right? So name of the places in the Quran are actually feminine. Outside of the Quran, because in current Arabic language, for example, you know, when you listen to an Arabic newspaper or a news, if they're talking about America or it's talking about Sudan or UK, this is all also feminine. Okay, they're also feminine. Okay, but we don't need to worry about those because they're not part of the Quranic word. Okay, so we worry about these ones, the red ones, the circle in the red ones. Okay, so specific name of places in the Quran are considered feminine name. Okay, the word Medina. Okay, the word Medina. So if I say the brother is going to Medina, in your head you think the Medina is the place that is 400 kilometer north to the Makkah. Okay, where the Rawdah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, right? That's what we mean, Muslim, that we are going to Medina, right? That's the city of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But actually the word Medina means city. Okay, in the Quran, Allah used the Medina for the Medina, like the place that Prophet make hijrah, and also he used the word Medina for other stories also. Medina means city. Okay, so I am going to, there is a big city after this road. If you walk 10 kilometers, you will find a city there. Okay, the word city is Medina. So okay, but now for our Islamic culture and Muslim, you know, because there's only one city is Medina, so we think Medina means Medina. Okay, but in Quran, the word Medina has been used for Medina itself, okay, and also for other cities. Okay, and the word Medina actually has a tamarbuta. Okay, so if anyone say that, you know, the word Medina, is it a name of a place in the Quran? No, not necessarily. It depends on the context. Okay, for example, Allah talked about a story of 3 prophets in Surah Al-Yasin. If you read Surah Al-Yasin from the beginning, okay, Madinati Rajulay Yas'a. Okay, so there's a city, and Allah sent 2 prophets and then sent the 3rd one. Okay, which city is that? Is it Medina in Arab? No, it's not that. It could be any city. We don't know that, right? So Medina means city. The word Medina means city. It is not a name of a place. Okay, not a name of a place in the Quran, but it has a tamarbuta, so it gives you the, whenever you see a tamarbuta, definitely it's a feminine word anyway. Okay, so these are the 4 categories so far. So what is the first one? Biological feminine. Second one, the word that ends with tamarbuta is guaranteed, or alif maksura preceded by 3 letters, or a alif mamduda followed by preceded by 3 letters. This is the second category. Third category, body parts in pair. Okay, and the fourth category was specific names of the places. Okay, and these are the red ones are the used in the Quran. Okay, let's look at the fifth category now. That is the one that is gonna, I need some time to explain. Non-human plurals are considered feminines. This holds true regardless of the gender of the singular form. What does that mean? Okay, so now to make it understand, I need to tell you something. Okay, for example, the word cars. So if I say I have one car and the brother has 3 cars, okay, so the word cars in Arabic is sayyaratun. Okay, that's easy to say, it's a feminine word because it has atun at the end. It's one of our combination word from our feminine child. But the word masjids in Arabic called masajid. Masajid. Okay, now masajid, the word masjid, if I say there's one masjid in my sabab, that word masjid is a masculine word. But if I say the word in plural, okay, then that word will be feminine. Okay, that word, the gender of that word will be feminine. For example, the word for singular in book is called kitab. Okay, kitab means book. Okay, kutub mean books. Kutub means books. Okay, just give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Okay, so the word for book is kitab. Okay, one book. But the word for books is kutub. Okay, now the word kutub means books, which is more than 2 books. Okay, more than 2. That word kutub is considered feminine because it's a plural of non-human. Okay, plural of a non-human thing. Anything that is non-human plural is considered feminine in Arabic. Okay, so try to understand this concept. Okay, if I say I have one book in my hand, then I will say I have a kitab. Okay, I have a kitab in my hand. One book. It's called kitab. Okay, like Allah calls the Quran al-kitab. But if I say I have 10 books, the books, the Arabic word for books is kutub. And that word is considered feminine, although the singular of it was masculine. Okay, so non-human plurals, okay, are considered feminines. Are considered feminines. Everybody clear with that? This concept, we're gonna deal with it next week again. We're gonna talk about plural. I mean, we're gonna talk about number. After the gender, we're gonna talk about number, and we're gonna make it a bit more clearer so that the concept. But this is a very, very important concept, and this is something unique to the Arabic, unlike English. Okay, so again, just to make it simple, a word can be masculine in its singular form. But if that word became plural and there's a different word for plural of that word, then that word will be feminine. Why? Because it is non-human plural. It is not a human thing. Okay, car, masjid, books, okay, pens, okay, tables, chairs, trees, okay, all this kind of thing. If that word has atun, atin, then it's already given, you understand it because it's from the chart. Okay, but if the word has a separate word, not like combination word, okay, then also if it is a plural word, if you know the meaning is plural, okay, then it is considered as feminine word, a feminine word. Okay, so this is number 5. And again, as I said, the feminine word, the category number 5, we're going to discuss more next week, so it will be more clear when we're going to talk about numbers. It will be more clear, inshallah ta'ala. Okay, the last category for feminine words, there are a set of words which do not fall into any of the categories above that we discussed, but they are still considered feminine because long time ago the Arab decided that these words will be feminine. They didn't give us any reason. They said they are feminine. We have to take it as guaranteed because they are feminine. For example, and among those words, there are a lot of them used in the Quran. These are the words. For example, ard means land or the world. Okay, ard. Okay, iza zulzilatil ardu zilzalaha. Ard is feminine. The word war is feminine. Harb. Okay, sky is feminine. Wind is feminine. Sun is feminine. Nafs. Nafs mean, all know what is nafs means. Nafs means the person or the soul, right? That is feminine. House, darun, okay, is also feminine. Cup, the teacup, as you say, or the cup, okay. Kasun is feminine. Fire is feminine, okay. Wine is feminine. Hellfire, Jahannam is feminine. Sayyarun is feminine. Bucket is feminine. Sabil, the path is feminine. Tariq is also feminine. And asa means staff, like, stick. Then the Musa has a stick. It's called asa. That is also feminine. So these are the words. They are feminine because the Arab decided they are feminine. And we just, as a bunch of words, there's some more, but for this basic level, this many is fine because these are the most commonly used in the Quran. So these words, you have no choice other than to remember or memorize them because they are feminine words. Moon is not feminine. Moon is masculine, but sun is feminine. Okay, so why? I don't know. That's what they decided. Okay, there's no one knows. Okay, there's no reason for that. Okay, so for example, honey is masculine. Okay, the word honey is masculine, but wine is not masculine. It's feminine. Okay, so there's a different. I don't know the reason because that's why the category is called. These words are feminine because the Arab said so. To remember this word, there's a small paragraph. You can read this. Okay, so during a war, a soldier was daydreaming, looking at the nujum, okay, in the sky until the sun came up. When he had snapped out, he realized he is the only person. So all this word used in this paragraph, basically, okay. A left battlefield surrounded by fire, so he used a bucket full of water to make a path all the way to the safer land. In the hot blowing wind, he was desperately looking for a well. Well is like a beer to draw water from it. In his search, he found an empty house. There was a cup full of khamar, means wine. He was tempted, despite of the fear of Jahannam, to take the sip, but words of temptation and use his asa to strike the drink. So just a small paragraph made up to use all these words so that you can remember that. You can remember that. Okay. So these are the 6 categories of the word. These are feminine. So let's revise one more time, inshallah ta'ala. The first category was their biological feminine. For example, girls, sisters, mother, all this auntie, khala, khala is Arabic word actually. Khala means khala, like, your mom's sisters, okay? So these are the words, they are biological feminine. So obviously they're feminine, okay? Then the next one is feminine because they have a ta marbuta, or they have a alif maksura or alif mamduda. Alif maksura, alif mamduda preceded by 3 letters, okay? Colors name, most of the colors name has alif mamduda, okay? So these are also feminine words. The third category was the body parts that comes in pair, okay? Fourth was name of the places, feminine. Fifth was non-human plural. Non-human plural are feminine. Non-human plural words, okay? The words that mean something plural and something that is non-human, they are feminine. And the sixth one is these words that you get on the screen. They are feminine because the Arab said so. Because the Arab said so, okay? So inshallah, this is our lesson for today. I'm not going to jump on to the next property today because it's going to be a bit too much for all of us. So we're going to pause it here and we're going to come back to do our third property, which is number. So today we did gender. We're going to talk about, singular, plural, dual. A bit, we know a little bit about singular, plural, dual, but, we're going to have to dig more into that, inshallah, next week. And after that, we'll have one more lesson on type. And with this, we'll have finished the all 4 properties of the ism, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. And today we can see that there's a good bunch of words that we came up as a vocabulary, but we have categorized them. For example, there are probably 15, 16 words here on the screen. As you can see, you can know the meaning. You can keep them as a record for your vocabulary. Also, we saw that there's 12 words for body parts, right? So we saw some words in body parts. So these are also the words that we need to we need to memorize them. If you can remember them as much as possible, that would be good for you, inshallah ta'ala. Okay. So with this, we can end our session today. And unless you have another question or anything regarding today's session, if not, then you all have a good week, inshallah ta'ala. And we will meet again, inshallah, next Wednesday, the same time, 8 p.m. inshallah ta'ala. And I will post the exercise and the videos and everything just like last week's, on the group, on the WhatsApp group. Jazakallah khairan.
Brother, what about the animals?
Animals?
Yeah, like a spider or like goat and like goat and cow. We can differentiate. Like, is it like a male or female or?
Yeah. For the
But what
insects,
about like a?
yeah, for the
Yeah.
insects, most of them are masculine, considered masculine. But if the word has a ta marbuta on it, then it's a feminine word. They don't have a separate category for that. Okay. But for insects and animals, if they are considered, for example, a plural, sometimes some of them, like even they have lives, but they are non-human, so they can consider feminine as well. If the plural of that word, okay, for example, flies, okay, mosquitoes, okay, but if Allah use only one of them, then it is mostly masculine. Okay.
Okay.
Any other question, brothers or sisters? No. Okay, inshallah. So with this we finish. Jazakallah khairan. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.